Good morning, family. So I got asked the question, why would God harden Pharaoh's heart? Okay. So there's two answers to that one question. Okay. So to get the answer, you go to Exodus 6. Okay. And in Exodus 6, it tells us why God hardened, okay, Pharaoh's heart. So the first part is God wanted to show Pharaoh that his gods wasn't real, that his gods had no power, and that his gods could not come up against the God of Israel, right? So if you go to Exodus 6, it says, "Then the Lord said to Moses, now you will see what I will do to Pharaoh. Because of my mighty hand, he will let them go. Because of my mighty hand, he will drive them out of his country." Okay? So as we can see, God hardened Pharaoh's heart so that he could show Pharaoh his power, so he could show Pharaoh who and what a real God looks like, okay? And so the second part of this answer is God wanted to make sure the Israelites left Egypt, okay? So if God didn't harden Pharaoh's heart to the point that God would have to show his power to the point that Pharaoh just wanted God and his people to be away from him, the Israelites would have never left. Right? So I don't know if anybody else been through this situation. I know I have. When God wants something better for you, but you're too scared to leave, right? He will make it so uncomfortable that out of frustration, right? I know for me it's frustration. Out of anger, you like, I gotta get out of here. Right? It trumps the fear. So because you was too scared to leave, God makes it so uncomfortable that these other feelings that you get from being uncomfortable overweighs the fear and force you out of there so he can give you what he been trying to give you. So that's what he had to do to the Israelites. He had to make, even though they was already slaves, I just feel like, you can't get more uncomfortable than that. But because they were slaves, they were scared. They were scared to leave. They even said that, while they was in the wilderness, they said, although we were slaves in Egypt, at least we had food to eat. So although they were slaves, they was comfortable being slaves, right? And if you're a slave, if you have a slave mentality, right, you can't handle the blessings God is going to give you because you will mess it up. Because you have that mind of, losing things and everything, right? This is why God had took them through the wilderness, because he had to reprogram their minds, right? So I'm going to a different whatever. But like I was saying, God had to make them uncomfortable because they had got comfortable being slaves, right? They was like, we slaves, but they kind of take care of us, right? At least we have food to eat and we have a bed to sleep in, right? I had somebody say that to me yesterday. I'm going through my own little situation over here. And God is telling me It's time to go. Right? But I keep having people trying to tell me to be comfortable with my situation when God is telling me, don't get comfortable, right? It's a lot of people comfortable being slaves to the devil. But God don't want you to be comfortable being a slave to the devil when you can be free and have so much more. So if you go to Exodus 6:6, it says, therefore say to the Israelites, I am the Lord. I will bring you out from under the yoke of the Egyptians. I will free you from being slaves to them, and I will redeem you with an outstretched arm and with mighty acts of judgment. I will take you as my own people, and I will be your God. Then you will know that I am the Lord your God who brought you out from under the yoke of the Egyptians. And I will bring you to the land I swore with uplifted hands to give to Abraham, to Isaac, to Jacob. I will give to you a possession. I am the Lord. So as long as they was comfortable being slaves, they would have never received God's blessing. And God's blessing was to give them land and more. See, God, that's what God says as a good parent we're supposed to do for our children. We're supposed to give them things, right? So they can have a better start than we did, right? When Abraham was born, he wasn't born rich. But by him following God, by the time he died rich. And he was able to leave things to his sons. Same with Isaac. Same with Jacob. Right? So it's like, when we get comfortable with just the bare minimum, right, we miss out on the greatness that God is trying to give to us. Right? We die with sadness and regret because we didn't take a chance on God. Right? And so God loved Israel so much that he didn't want them to just, have the bare minimum. He wanted them to have more. So he had to make them uncomfortable at first in the beginning so that they would be willing to follow him to more. I hope this message answers some questions, and I hope it helps somebody on their journey. If God has got you in a situation of feeling uncomfortable, he's trying to get you to leave. Because he got something more and better for you. I promise he do. I promise he do. If you just trust him and follow him, he has more waiting for you. He just wants you to have faith in him, to just leave. Like he told Abraham. He told Abraham to leave his father's house and to follow him in the land I will tell you. He didn't even tell Abraham where he was going. He just said, leave and follow me, and I'll tell you where you need to stay. And because Abraham had that much faith in him, it got him from living the bare minimum to living an abundant life. And I encourage you to have faith in God, to live your abundant life. I love you, family. Have a great day.